Conquer Local.
It's really a breath of fresh air. Good times.
I help leaders go from anxiety to authority under pressure.
And then let's go and get it.
It's an ecosystem.
The hardest part here is going to be getting me to shut up on this one.
Conquer Local with Vendasta, hosted by Jeff Tomlin.
Welcome to the Conquer Local podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Tomlin, and today, for our Master Training Series, we're diving deep into the world of branding. Building a successful brand is not just about a logo. It's about creating a powerful connection with your audience. In this episode, I'll be sharing valuable insights on brand positioning. We'll be exploring some insights around Twitter's new brand X, and we'll share some of the top mistakes that you can avoid when doing brand work for your own business or for your clients. Well, let's get started. How to create brand positioning that sells. We're starting with the critical aspects of brand strategy, the core and the narrative. The core is your mission, vision, and values. These are critical aspects to align your team so that you can develop a consistent brand story long into the future. The mission aligns your team toward a long-term goal. Your vision describes what winning looks like for the team. And lastly, your values align the team and helps guide decision-making as you do the hard work of executing on the mission. The second part of the brand strategy is your brand narrative. Your narrative will have four foundational elements: your value proposition, your positioning statement, your brand promise, and a tagline. The value proposition summarizes why a customer would choose your product or service. Your positioning statement, on the other hand, articulates the difference that we want our audience to remember. The brand promise sets the expectations for the brand experience. And lastly, the tagline is the most distilled piece. It's designed to get the audience to remember and then easily recall your brand difference. To create a brand that truly sells, you need a clear understanding of who your customers are, what problem your product or service solves, and what sets you apart from the competition, and why your audience should believe in you. Brand positioning is your internal guideline, aligning your business and your marketing decisions. It's more than just advertising. It's about crafting a consistent identity and image for your brand that resonates with your target audience. At the heart of successful brand positioning lies empathy and understanding. You must put yourself in your customers' shoes and truly grasp their needs, their desires, and their pain points. By knowing your audience inside out, you can tailor your brand messaging to speak directly to them, forging a deep and lasting connection. Your brand is not just a logo or a name. It's how you make people feel. It's what they say about you when you're not in the room. It's a promise delivered, and really, it's a shortcut for decision-making in the minds of your audience. Think about the experience you want to create, the stories you tell, and more importantly, the stories your customers tell about you. Building deep, relevant buyer personas and ideal customer profiles will ensure that your brand messaging truly resonates with your audience. Let's take a cue from Apple's brand positioning statement, which is, for individuals who want the best personal computer or mobile device. Apple leads the technology industry with the most innovative products. This statement emphasizes technological research and advancement, showcasing Apple's innovative approach to business. They promise to think differently. It highlights that they not only deliver products, but they also consider the impact on their customers and the planet. Now, where do you start? Well, it starts with understanding the customer, identifying your target market, and being hyper aware of the needs and preferences. Remember, your brand positioning needs to be written and communicated with your audience in mind. They are the reason that your brand exists in the first place. Whose opinion do you care about the most? Now think beyond your customers. Consider other stakeholders like businesses, reporters, advertisers, employees, and policymakers. They all play a role in shaping your brand perception. To make your brand positioning impactful, you have to be specific. If your products or services cater to a specific niche, don't be afraid to mention it. The more you can speak to your audience's language, the better you can solve the problems and understand their challenges. The journey doesn't end with knowing your audience. It extends to articulating what your products and services do. Avoid the mistake of simply listing features. Instead, lead with benefits. Tell your audience how your offerings will improve their lives or solve their problems. To do this effectively, envision a from here to there narrative. Paint a picture of where your customers are now And where could they be if they used your products and services? Tell the story of what happens when they make that decision. Remember, your brand positioning is not a set it and forget it task. As your business evolves, so should your brand positioning. Keep it up to date to reflect your company's growth, consider the competitive landscape, and the changing needs of your audience. That will ensure that your messaging remains relevant and impactful. In the end, your brand positioning is a foundation of your brand success. Taking the time to research, understand, and connect with your audience. Develop brand positioning that embodies your unique value proposition, can be differentiated, and consistently delivers on a promise. It's not just statements, it's the essence of your brand. Let's move on now to an intriguing new brand making headlines after Elon Musk announces Twitter's transition to X. The recent rebranding has sparked a lot of controversy and discussion in the marketing community. Musk, known for his disruptive endeavors, bought Twitter in October of 2022, and he's since launched a minimalist, versatile letter X as a new identity, and arguably is throwing away years of brand development. But the letter X carries a historic revolution, rebellion, and mass consumerism, making it an interesting choice. Some might wonder why X? Is it the connection to the 90s when X represented Gen X, the rebellion, alternative generation? Musk's obsession with X extends beyond Twitter, from SpaceX to Tesla's Model X, and one of his children's name even contains the enigmatic letter. It seems to hold a unique significance to him. As we watch this change unfold, we should think about how this rebranding will impact user engagement and perception. Will Twitter's loyal users embrace the transformation? And I guess really only time will tell. Now let's focus on something equally crucial: avoiding branding mistakes that can hamper your brand success. When crafting your brand strategy, it's vital to steer clear of common branding mistakes. Let's explore some key pitfalls and strategies to avoid them. The first mistake is misunderstanding branding itself. So branding goes beyond advertising. It's about creating a consistent identity and an image. Next is forgetting to establish the core. It's important to define your company mission and values before creating your brand image and voice. You need to have a mission and a vision of what winning looks like, and the values clearly articulated so you can communicate what is valuable to the brand. Now, be careful not to just rely on trends. Trends can be useful, but you should aim to balance them with a central, timeless brand for lasting impact. The next mistake to avoid is mimicking your competition. It's important to research successful strategies, but you need to craft an original, unique brand identity. Brand development focuses heavily on differentiation. Another mistake to steer clear of is using confusing imagery. When doing brand work, you should aim to only select visual elements that resonate with your brand's purpose and your products. Next, don't underestimate the power of persuasive writing in your brand messaging. Do not make the mistake of writing lackluster copy. Finally, brands should never forego market research. Conducting research to understand your audience's values and preferences is an important part of the branding process. Fail to do so and you run the risk of creating messaging that just simply will not hit the mark. Remember, building a successful brand takes time and dedication. Invest in your brand's identity, values, and voice, and you'll be on your way to conquering the market. That wraps up our deep dive into brand development, Twitter's new brand X, and the top branding mistakes to avoid. Your brand is your story, and crafting it with purpose and authenticity is a key to success. Thank you for joining me today on the Conquer Local podcast. Don't forget to subscribe for more expert insights and tips on how to conquer the world of business. If you've enjoyed this edition of the Master Training Series, revisit some of our older episodes. Check out episode 624, Is Organic Reach Dead? Exploring pay-to-play versus organic social media strategy, or episode 631, Future-Proof Your Career, Why You Need to Prioritize Upskilling in Today's Economy. Until next time, I'm Jeff Tomlin. Get out there and be awesome.
You've been listening to the Conquer Local podcast presented by Vendasta. Tune in next week for a new episode. Guest discovery and produced by Suleiman Adam. Marketing by Rory Lawford, Nicole Lozon, and Suleiman Adam. Executive producers Brendan King, Jeff Tomlin, and Suleiman Adam. Recorded at Vendasta headquarters on the Canadian Prairies.